even in the smallest of ways, you are divinely protected from anything truly evil. And I feel like some of you are providing protection for others by staying calm, balanced, and comforting those around you. And I also feel like there's a need for some of you parents out there with teenagers to talk about the importance of protection when it comes to sex, drugs, alcohol, peer pressure, bullying, and any other challenges teenagers deal with on a regular basis. I strongly feel some of you need to discuss condoms and birth control, because I feel a few of your teenagers are getting ready to take some uninformed risks and could end up either pregnant or maybe get someone pregnant. And I don't say that to scare you. I'm just saying that because that is what I feel. And, you know, if you haven't had the talk about the birds and the bees, I feel like it's very important that you do that this week. I also feel like some of you need to invest in some sort of insurance for protection of your property and finances. I feel like some of it could be, for some of you, it will be health insurance that's needed. For some of you, it feels like car insurance. I feel like there's a couple of you out there that are really taking a risk by not having any car insurance. And, you know, if something happens, then that's not going to work out in your favor at all. And then another thing that I was feeling when it came to insurance was flood insurance. Now, there's also a strong energy of love coming in from the cosmos again this week, which will bring more opportunities for you to love and be loved. And this love is sometimes one of stripping away things. So, you know, it's a stripping away of things that we no longer need, or causes an awakening and a shift in the way that you think and feel. And this planet is going through an enormous shift of consciousness. And that love energy that's coming in is helping facilitate that. So it's helping raise your vibration, and in order to raise your vibration, we have to get rid of all the junk that exists, all the stuff that you're holding on to. So sometimes it's, you know, a little bit of a challenging experience. This week you could find yourself releasing some tension that has been building inside of you. Some of you will knowingly release the tension. Others will be forced to do so by dealing with residual karma. As a planet, we are moving beyond karma, which is part of this shift in consciousness that I was talking about. We won't need karma anymore, but there's still some junk that needs to be cleared out. So unfortunately, some of us are still dealing with some stuff. I do feel like some of you will be rocked by earthquakes. The earthquake just kept coming to mind. That word just kept coming over and over again. So I feel like some of you will be rocked by earthquakes, figuratively and literally. Earthquakes release stored up tension underground and cause things to collapse, shake, break, and realign. Some of you could experience relationships being rearranged. Don't try to hold on to the way things used to be. I do feel like there could also be a possibility of earthquakes in the U.S. I feel like Hawaii could experience some more quakes, or maybe some seismic activity due to Kilauea. And I do feel like there could possibly be some other states and other countries that will deal with some seismic activity. Some of it feels connected to fracking. Some of it feels connected to actual earth movement and changes, that tension that I was talking about. The one in Hawaii kind of feels like it's connected to the volcano. You know, so I guess we'll see what happens. This week, I also feel a sense of enhancing or building a community. Here in the U.S., it's Labor Day weekend, so I'm sure there will be plenty of get-togethers and things going on in the local communities. I feel like friends and families are getting together. Everybody's enjoying each other's time. I really feel like it's just a time of connection and growth with each other. Let's see. I do feel like there are a few reunions And some of them feel like, you know, maybe family reunions, everybody's getting together that hasn't seen each other a really long time. I feel like there could be a couple of school reunions. Maybe you're getting together with some friends from school that you haven't seen in a really long time. Whatever it is, it just feels like a reunion. And I do feel like some of you could be dealing with someone from your past or something from your past that's reunited with you that you haven't spoken to in a very, very long time, or maybe something that you haven't remembered in a long time or seen. Like, you know, for some of you, I feel like it could actually be an object. So maybe you're cleaning out your closet and you come across an old yearbook or something from your past again that just it feels like it's a pleasant reunion, so it doesn't feel like it's anything that's going to like rock your world. It feels like it's going to be a pleasant surprise. If it's a person that shows up, you're going to actually be happy to reconnect with them and speak with them. And if it's, you know, finding something that's been lost in your closet for a decade, that's going to be really exciting too. For some of you, I actually feel like it could be a couple of bucks, like you're going through old clothes and you reach in and you find a $20 bill. This week, the energy should start to lift for those of you who have been stuck in a rut or have been having a pity party for yourselves. The party's over, so you can finally get moving again, and it's a good feeling. I know even for myself, I've been feeling a little bit stuck in a rut or just not feeling very motivated, and I can already sense the energies have started to lift in the last week or so, and I'm feeling more motivated, I'm feeling more energized, and I definitely feel like that's going to be a continuing thing, especially since Mercury retrograde and a lot of the retrograde stuff is pretty much coming to an end. Work, for those of you employed, for the most part, work should be going okay this week. However, for a few of you, there is a need for you to take a look at your relationships at work. Some of you are stuck in this like catty circle of envy, jealousy, and gossip. It's like you're friends, but you're not friends. Like this weird energy of, I don't know. You know, it's like the person that you like to just, you like them, but secretly you hate them because you're comparing yourself to them. It's that kind of a weird energy that's going on there. And I feel like if that's you, then some drama could come up this week. Also, if any of you are having romantic relationships at work, I do feel like something could pop up for you guys as well in the drama department. And I feel like that is especially true for anyone that could be having an affair. I feel like something could pop up. So just be aware of that. Lastly, those of you who have been miserable at your current job or I just feel like you're finally getting yourself motivated again because that energy is coming in, that rut is moving, the pity party's over, and I feel like you are definitely going to get yourself out of this situation. It may not be this week that happens, but I do feel like, again, you're more motivated, you're pumped, and I feel like there's opportunities that could be circling around you that you'll actually notice because now you're ready to make a change. Work, for those of you looking for a job, I feel like jobs this week for some of you are happening. So to me, I feel like jobs are on the horizon. I feel some of you are getting hired, some of you are being called back for interviews, some of you are finishing up the paperwork of maybe like you've got to take a drug test or, whatever steps that you're having to go through in order to start physically working. I do feel like you're going to actually be working. Sorry, I'm multitasking. I'm trying to read and talk at the same time, and sometimes I'm just not good at that. Anyway, so I feel like you're going to be pleasantly surprised. I feel success. I feel a lot of positive things coming in the work department for those of you that have been waiting for a job. I definitely feel like you're headed down the right path. Stay positive and don't give up for those of you that may not end up getting a job this upcoming week, but I do feel like it's on the horizon. So, just stay focused and keep your head on, and you'll be fine. Like, you'll be fine. That job is going to find you, and you're going to find it. Love, those of you in committed relationships, I feel like there could be financial stresses that affect some of your relationships this week, especially if the two of you go back and forth about money and who's spending what and who's not spending and why. And I just feel like it could be more of the same. I do feel like it's important that you break the cycle. Again, this is all part of this greater shift consciousness that we're having. You need to break habits and cycles that are negative because you keep attracting the same thing over and over again. So I also feel like some of you are allowing your past relationship experiences to affect your current one. So that's something that could be popping up this week for you as well. So if it does happen, take a good look at yourself to make sure you're not self-sabotaging. And if it's not you and you recognize it in your partner, then instead realize what's happening with them and practice some compassion and resolve the deeper issue together. And for everyone else, I feel like it's going to be more of the same. If you're happy, you're going to be happy. If you've been fighting, you're going to be fighting. And if you want change, then you just have to change the way that you interact, express yourself. You just have to change, right? Those of you looking for love, I do feel like some of you are going to meet some new romantic interests through friends. So make sure you say yes to any social invites. Whether it's, I feel like it's more of a group type thing. There could be a few of you just going out with some individual friends, to like an individual friend to go out somewhere. But to me, it feels more like group activity, so it feels more like more than one person. So definitely, if your friends invite you out, go have fun. If you get there and you aren't having a good time after a couple of hours, you can always leave. To me, it's worth the effort, especially if you're wanting to find love. So you have to put yourself out there, and you've got to take some risks. And again, you can always change your mind once you get there if you're not having a good time. And there's really no excuse nowadays because you have Uber, Lyft. So whether you're riding with someone, whatever the case is, because I know all the excuses that come up, no excuses, just act on it and you won't regret it. Finances, some of you are too attached to money and attribute what you make to your overall self-worth. So basically, you know, you're allowing whatever your wages are to affect who you are, right? That those aren't the same thing. I feel like you need to stop looking at it that way. Money has nothing to do with your worth. Money is just a system to keep you trapped in like this craziness, and you know, I won't get into all of that. But anyway, so don't let it affect you. Money is just an energy. That's how you need to look at it. And money comes and goes, just like everything else in life. So I feel like try to let go of that. Overall, money will be flowing just fine for most of you this week. For some of you, it will be coming in and going out just as quickly. And some of you are comparing yourselves to others' financial situations, and you could experience some jealousy or envy, or end up, you know, feeling down about yourself. So please don't compare yourself to anybody else. Some of you have opportunities around you to make some extra money, and those of you who have been unmotivated to pursue anything kind of connected to financial goals, I feel like this week that's all going to change and you're going to get fired up and get ready to go. Health, some of you have been putting off getting checkups and or, you know, like some routine care, whether it's a physical or maybe going to the dentist or the eye doctor. It all feels like kind of minor. This week you could be feeling motivated to take care of your health needs. Some of you may even look to friends and family on things that they've done to improve their overall health and get some pointers from them. Spirituality overall, everyone is going through a spiritual upgrade or ascension. Some of you will be called to pursue like-minded people or get someone some one-on-one guidance. Or some of you will just end up exploring things on your own through books and research. But either way, I feel like it'll be a spiritual week. That covers this week's predictions. I'm sending lots of positive vibes. I hope everyone has a successful week. Let's take tonight's caller. I have Melissa in Wichita, Kansas. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, I feel like I'm choking on, I don't know, I think I might have some allergies going on, but how are you? What can I do for you this evening?
Oh, I'm doing okay. I'm just trying to see how it is with our financial situation, mainly.
Yeah, I feel like it's pretty tough right now. Yeah, I definitely feel like there's way more bills and finances that need, or bills that need to be taken care of versus what's coming in. Is one of you not working right now, or?
Both of us aren't working at the moment. I'm trying to get into the U.S. Air Force.
Gotcha. Okay, that's why I'm like, I feel like it's like nothing is happening. I'm not laughing at your situation, but like I just felt like, whoa, there's like nothing there. You guys are really just like working off of savings and whatever you can do to get.
Yeah, you are pretty much. I have to get in shape because I was a little overweight. I've lost 92 pounds since the last summer.
Oh, awesome! Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
That's amazing.
So that's why it's been delaying.
Okay, so you've already went and talked to a recruiter and everything, right? Like you just have to be able to go through the MEP station and like go through the whole like PT type thing?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so you're like on a delayed entry program situation.
Yes, because also my mother is coming to visit me from overseas, and since I'm an ordained minister, she asked me to wed her and her fiancé.
Oh, you know what? I say charger. I say, hey, Mom, you know what? I love you, and I want to give this to you from my heart, but I can't do it right now, so I'm going to charge you a couple bucks.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what? And I feel like she would. I feel like she would do it. I really do. She really would, because I know that I feel like she genuinely is a very giving, loving individual. She might be taken aback at first. Like I feel like she might be like, "What?" But once if you were to explain the situation, like I think she knows your situation, right? Like financially.
Yeah, she does. She tries to help me out as much as she can, but I keep on telling her, please save it up for your own good, since Germany is not doing too well over there, and basically what I'm trying to do is I'm doing what I can to push our family forward, and it's just been like that the whole entire time where I'm irritated. I know there's an opportunity around the corner. It's just the patience factor that's getting me.
Oh, I know. And like right now, things have been really, really tough with the energies. I do feel like, your mom feels really great. Her fiance seems like a really, really good person as well. So look, I think I understand like you don't want to take money from her, but I do feel like you need some help. So whatever, charge her a couple bucks, whether it's $50 to $100, it'll put some extra food on the table or help you out with something, whether it's gas in the car. But besides that, I do feel like, I want to say that I feel like you could get into, like, finish the process of being able to enlist this year, by the end of the year. I don't feel like you have that much more weight to lose.
No, I went down, I said 92 pounds. I've gotten down to about 140 pounds now.
Yeah, I feel like the last of it is just you working on the physical aspects of it. You've lost the weight, but I feel like it's more like the strength and the endurance and that sort of thing, and making sure that you're okay. So I do feel like they're just waiting on you, really. So I feel like as soon as you marry your mom, you hit the pay, go. Yeah, I mean, I think it will ultimately it will change your life. Like, you know, unfortunately, you already know you have to do your part, and I feel like you can make it happen with the military before the end of the year. In the meantime, I feel like there's little things that you could do on the side for some extra cash, and I feel like are you guys married, your spouse?
Yes, I have a spouse.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Do you feel like he's doing his part?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, good. Because that's kind of what I was feeling. Like, I feel like he needs a swift kick in the ass. That's what he needs. Like, he's feeling depressed and down on himself. I don't know, but he's got to pull himself up, and he's got to get motivated. Like, I feel like there's things that he could be doing to get work.
He could do so much, but as I said, you know, with him, I just think it's like this, that I have to take the first step just to prove it that it can be done. He's more of the passive person. I'm more of the aggressor and wants to go for it.
Yeah. I do feel like he's dealing with a little bit of some depression and some, self-worth stuff that's going on.
It's been since the military and since his grandfather passed away when he was 13 years old.
Yeah, he's definitely got that going on. I feel like he just has to try to pull himself out of it, and I do feel like there's plenty of work. There's things for him to do where he could make a couple of extra bucks. I feel like, gosh, even if you went to mow the grass or whatever, but I do feel like your financial situation will change. You're a hustler. You're going to go and do what you can. I only have 45 seconds, but I do feel like you could be ready to leave for the military within the next couple of months. When is your mom coming?
She is coming around September 9th, around my son's birthday.
Okay, so I felt like you could be definitely in boot camp by December. If you go through the procedures and the hustling and all of that, your financial situation will change because you're going to take control of that. Melissa, thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate it. I hope that everything works out for you. Thanks, everybody. I will see you next week. Bye.
Hi, I'm Stephanie, and thanks for watching Moonstruck. And now back to A1R on the air. Psychic Talk Radio now on Moonstruck TV. Enlightening television.
Welcome to A1R Psychic Radio here on Moonstruck TV with Amanda Hall Psychic all the way from the Gold Coast. Well, it's absolutely a fabulous day here again. We've had a little bit of rain. We're in a severe drought here, so any little bit of rain that we can get, we're very gratefully appreciative of. We could do with a little bit more, but the weather is still quite cold here. Well, cold for me anyway. So I hope you're having an absolutely awesome week wherever you are in the world of ours. It's again with a heavy heart that we have to sort of, all sort of hold everybody in our thoughts and our prayers for the latest shooting that happened in the last couple of days in the US. I mean, it just seems to be nearly every week that we're sort of remembering somebody that lost their lives, and this time it was, innocent young lives off doing something that they enjoy, playing video games. I mean, you'd think that your sons and your daughters are quite safe going to a venue like that. You don't think of them getting into any trouble or the possibility of them being killed. So I really do feel incredibly sorry for the families that have lost those two young men. Anyway, on to much brighter things. As we always follow on the show each week, we start the show with the Simply Tarot card of the week. And this week I'm pleased to say it's a positive one. And it's nice to always have a positive card to sort of work with. This is the Chariot card. It's the card of movement of residence or a victory over the situation or problem. Now, for many of us, there's been issues, particularly over the last few months, that we've really felt like we've been struggling with. Well, this might just be the time where we see a victory, or we see that we're back in the driver's seat of the problems or the issues that have been in our lives. And probably more importantly, the meaning of this card is balancing the opposite polarities. Now, what I mean by that is finally bringing everything in your life into a balance, or things that where you might have been at opposite ends of the boxing ring with people in your life, or situations, or family members, or loved ones. It's now finally we can come to some sort of resolution. We don't always all have to agree, but we can agree to disagree, and I think move on in a more positive sort of frame of mind. And that's what I think the message is this week, is that we all need to try and be a little bit more patient with other people. I mean, there is so much political unrest going on around the world. I mean, I try and catch up with the world events at least once a day, and, you know, I keep shaking my head. I don't know whether it's a sign of me getting old or whether it's just the world's in such disarray, probably a combination of both. But when I see people that are disrespectful to people, that people that have passed over, and, you know, the US president stands to mind there with the recent loss there of a man that was, you know, so synonymous with American value systems, and a war veteran, and somebody that was very big in the political arena over there. And for a president to have such disrespect, I just shake my head. I really do. I'm sure there's a lot of other people shaking their head around the world on that issue as well. But anyway, we're going to have an absolutely awesome show. This week, we're going to be featuring a different candle, one that we haven't featured before on the show. I mean, as I've mentioned many, many times, there's 28 in the range. So it sort of always makes it sort of like each week we've got a different candle that we're focusing on, which is good. But this week I've chosen the Dreams candle. Now, the reason why I've chosen the Dream candle is that I think it's time for us all to sort of maybe try and have some better dreams in our lives, because we've had such a busy, busy year where we've had full moons, we've had blood moons, we've had blue moons, we've had probably just about every moon that you can think of. And we had a very powerful full moon last week. I think it's nice now to follow on with, let's just all take a sigh of relief and sort of exhale and sort of say we can just have a little bit of a breather, a time to catch our breath, a time to maybe daydream, or maybe try and make our dreams more powerful than what they are. So that's why I chose the Dream candle this week. Now, for many people, they say to me, look, Amanda, I don't dream. Well, that's not true. We all dream. It's just a matter of some of us remember them more prolifically than others. I can honestly put my hand up and say I'm not a person that remembers very many of my dreams. So if I do get a dream and it wakes me up in the middle of the night, I actually get out of bed and write down the headlines, because I know first thing in the morning I will have forgotten it, and there would have been a powerful message there for me to be aware of it in my rest time. It must be a strong message coming psychically from somewhere that I need to pay attention to. So can I suggest, if you're one of those people that is like me, maybe have a pad and pen beside the bed so that, you know, you can sort of turn your mobile phone on, get the torch part going and write down just the headlines of your dreams so you can fill it in the next morning. For those of you that are lucky enough to remember your dreams every night, well, lucky you, because, you know, dreams is a very powerful part of our conscious, our unconscious and our subconscious part of the mind. Look, I'm not an expert on the different layers of sleep, but I can tell you this. I do know that things that go on in our day-to-day lives do get sort of put or buried into the subconscious and the unconscious part of our mind, sometimes for later on, for things that we're going to go back and we're going to revisit, we're going to reanalyse, we're going to try and sort out what that meant or how it applied to our part of life. Now, for many times, those things get buried for a very, very long time and then can resurface again at a time that we don't think is necessarily appropriate, or where did that come from, or I haven't thought of that in years. Well, it's now then we are ready emotionally to be able to process and deal with the information. And a lot of times it's obsolete by the time we get it to that point, that the situation has long passed and it's resolved itself in whatever way it was meant to. But a lot of times too, there's really still very significant messages in there that are relevant for today. So the Dreams candle works in this way. If you want to sort of try and enhance your dreaming capabilities, or the ability to remember more of your dreams, or maybe you're dreaming of doing something new in your life, of manifesting something or creating something or starting a new project, then this is the actual the proper candle for you to use for any one of those above situations. So the dream candle will help you understand more powerful dreams. It will also increase your psychic ability. And yes, we all have psychic ability. Some of us just learn to develop it more than others. I always use this analogy. We could all go and learn to play the piano, but we're all not going to be Richard Clayderman, where it's not going to be natural and just sort of something that just seems to come easily to him. I'm sure he put in a lot of practice as well, but he makes it look very easy. Well, the same thing is said for psychic ability. We all have it. It's whether or not we choose to use it, work with it and acknowledge it, and whether we choose to develop it. So if you're going to be working with the dreams candle, my extra large candles have 2 wicks in them. Now, I like to sort of burn 1 wick one day and 1 wick the next day. The reasons why I do that is I'm a little bit frugal when it comes to parting with money. I believe that you get a longer burn time out of your candle that way. You'll get up to 100 hours, depending how you look after it, versus about 50 to 60 hours if you were to burn both wicks at the same time. Also, too, because the candles are in glass containers, they sometimes get very hot. The actual glass container gets hot, not the actual soy wax. It's the glass container that gets hot, and it can sometimes crack with the changes of temperature. So for that reason, I sort of suggest that you burn alternate wicks. It's entirely your choice. Now, we write down the things on the piece of paper that we might be looking to bring towards us. Say, for argument's sake, you want to enhance your capability to remember your dreams. Well, then you would word it in such a way on your piece of paper that from this point on, I would like to be able to remember more of my dreams and how they're going to influence my life. Putting it in your own words. So reading that out aloud as you go to light your candle. Always place your candle on a coaster. Never place it directly on furniture, because as we've mentioned before, the glass container gets hot, and I wouldn't like you to scorch your furniture. Then, you can place that on a coaster, burn your candle between 15 minutes to 2 hours per day. I like to work with everything in seven, so I suggest that we burn them for a 7-day cycle, but that's entirely your choice. It's up to you how many days you want to burn it for. I like to do things in stages of 7s. So if you're travelling or you need a small compact candle, this is my suggestion, is our travel kit. You can choose any 3 candles that you wish. You don't have to have 3 dreams candles. You can make up 3 of your choice from any of our 28 in the range. So it makes it a really nice little gift box to give to somebody as a gift, or just a gift to yourself sometimes or another. Now, these only have 1 wick, same rules apply, about a 15-hour burn time out of these little candles. So for those of you that don't want to work with a flame, and I know there's a few of you out there that don't want to do that, can I suggest you pick up when you're next time out at the variety store or the supermarket, that you can pick up a melt warmer. This one's an electric one, has a little button on the side that you can turn it on and off. I use my melt warmer probably every day. I have 2. I have one in my office with protection going for when I'm doing my psychic work. I have another one going in the main part of my house where I change that wax every, once a week or every few days. At the moment, I'm burning my dream one at the moment in it, and I put half a teaspoon of soy wax out of my candle in there daily. This is something, same rules apply. Write out your list, read it out aloud as you're going to turn it on. Always place it on a coaster too, because, we're dealing with, things that might scratch the table and everything like that. And, of course, there's a little bit of heat that comes out of these as well. But these are a much safer alternative if you can't sit with your candle. And I don't believe we should ever burn a candle unattended. But these we can leave going all day and turn them off at the end of the day or the end of our work day. And it still gives you the same power as working with a candle. So that's just a cheaper, a different alternative, around about $15 here in Australia. So moving on to have our little quick glimpse of around the universe. And this week we've got still a very, very powerful configuration of slow-moving planets. I know I touched on this last week, of Mars holding hands or conjunct Pluto in Capricorn. We still have the same influence, but this week we also add to the equation. It's 3 of them holding hands this week. It's Mars, Pluto, and what is known as the South Node. Now, they're all in Capricorn. We still have the ability of people being fiery and outspoken and sort of being a little bit nasty or aggressive or pushy and speaking before they've thought anything through. It still will affect the political arenas all around the world, or anything connected with governments, big business, anything on an official level. Now, the added influence this week is people are looking for the easy way out. People are looking for the shortcut. They're looking for the way that they can outsmart you, deceive you, get this through. If it's a bill that might be going through the parliament, they're trying to look for the fastest, quickest way of getting it through before anybody's had time to read it. So then people don't have time to object or can protest to it or say, hang on a minute, I don't understand this or I don't like that. So be very, very aware of that. And be aware that our politicians around the world might be trying to hoodwink us with a few things at the moment. So it really is the time, as much as you might find it distasteful, it really is the time to really get involved with your own local politics, know exactly what's going on, what are your leaders doing, what sort of information are they sharing with us through social media and telecasts and things like that, and make sure what they're telling you resonates with you and you feel comfortable with it. If you don't, then be aware of the next time you have that opportunity to vote, your vote is powerful. Make sure you use it. So on a more personal sort of level, we can find that this sort of overspills into the hierarchy of families. And at the moment, there could be a number of family issues that are coming to a head, things that have been simmering under the surface on and off for years in some cases, and all of a sudden things are starting to sort of poke their head up and people are starting to sort of have their little say, and it's not necessarily in a nice way, and then somebody else gets on the bandwagon and before you know it, World War III is broken out in the family. Can I say again, be very observant of who's doing what and who's saying what and what are their motives. Is it just a very selfish motive, or are they really looking out for the bigger picture, the best interest of the family as a collective? Or is it more about satisfying their own needs? Now, this can also spill over into working environments. Again, it could be a destructive energy in the working environment, particularly if you work for a large organisation. You're starting to see people sort of politically join different sides in the office. So just be very careful again. You know, you're probably best off being seen as neutral and not really having an opinion and not taking sides with anybody. Just be your own person. I mean, you know, and don't give a lot of information away unless it's on a need-to-know basis. So that's what's happening around the universe at the moment. I want to now go on to our little weekly segment that we've been doing where we've been featuring famous singers of the different astrological signs. And this week I'm pleased to say we're up to the female sign of Scorpio. And last week I had an actual request from my producer that he wanted me to feature one of his favourite singers. And I said to him, well, that's really interesting because I actually think she's the one that we'll be featuring next week. And I'm pleased to say it's Helen Reddy. Now, Helen Reddy, for those of you that don't know her, you will know her by the time I'm finished, and particularly when I mentioned the song that everybody knows her by. Helen Reddy actually started her singing career at the very tender age of 4 years of age. Now, that's amazing because this lady is well and truly over 4 now, I can assure you. And she actually lost that contest. They basically told her she didn't have any talent. So luckily she took no notice of them. Being a Scorpio, and she was probably a little bit forthright even at the age of 4, she decided that they didn't know what they were talking about and she was going to continue on. Well, luckily for us, she did. She's gone on to have many, many hit records. She's had many awards. She's been many musicals, many stage events and things like that. She's been in television. She was one of the first female Australian singers to actually have her own show in the US of A. So that's quite a big feat in itself. She was also been affectionately named the Queen of Pop of the 70s. I'm speaking about the one and only, the person that really has stood up for every woman on the planet, the one and only Helen Reddy. And, of course, we all know the song, I Am Woman, Watch Me Roar. So I really do take my hat off to you, Helen Reddy. I've been a huge fan of you ever since I can remember. And it's just a song that I think every woman can sing to. Whether you can sing in tune or not, it's another thing. But, you know, we all know the words to the song and we all love it. And, you know, she's just brought, I think, so many songs to life in a way that other people couldn't have done it justice. So good on you, Helen Reddy. And I'm sure my producer's now happy. I mean, I'll be interested to see who else he'd like to suggest we might talk about. But I've got some exciting couple of ones coming up in the next couple of weeks, couple of famous Saggies. And I'm not just picking people that I like. I'm picking people that I think everybody will like. But we're now ready to take our first caller, and it's Shalaya in Squamish, Washington. Are you ready, Shalaya?
Yes, I am.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, how can I help you, sweetie? Do you have a question for me tonight?
Yeah, I just kind of want to know, like, what's in, like, the near future for me, you know, like career-wise and whatever that you could pick up for me, if you can.
Okay, look, I don't know that it's necessarily the right time at the moment to be looking to change your career. What they're showing me is you need to give it a couple more months before you make that sort of final decision. So I'm taking from that that even if you were to sort of start looking at the moment, you wouldn't find anything that would naturally make you want to put the effort in to jump ship. So I'm not saying don't look. I'm not saying don't keep your eye on the job situation, but I just don't want you to be disappointed that there's nothing out there that sort of says, yes, that's what I want. You know what I mean? That I really want to go for that. So maybe just use this time to get other areas of your life ready for the changes that are coming. You know, like clear the closets out, you know, declutter the house, you know, things like that. Get yourself ready so you're showing the universe that you're ready for change. This year has been about a number of things finishing for you. So has there been friends and situations like that that you sort of think, I no longer need that in my life anymore? There's no longer the great connection that there once was?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's all positive because that's all getting you ready for these changes. I'm not saying you're going to move, but I do see a lot of movement within where you're living, like clearing things out, moving the furniture around, you know, sprucing things up, and that's all sort of positive as well. But I also sort of felt that you were starting to get more messages from the other side, or more psychic flashes, as I like to call them. You know, your intuition is quite strong at the moment. Have you been acknowledging that?
Yeah. Yes, yeah.
Good.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, so just keep on the path that you are, because I just know that when the timing's right, you'll just get that strong urge that, gee, I've got to go and look at the job situation. I haven't looked at a job board in 3 days. I better look now. You know, follow those sort of strong feelings that you're getting, because I do feel that there is a new opportunity coming, but I'd really be surprised if it's much before the end of the year, and then it's sort of the right time to sort of make the change and sort of, you know, be ready for what 2019 is going to bring in, which is a year of great stability, but I also think a very, very busy year ahead of you. So, you know, we've got a really, really some good opportunities coming towards you over the next couple of months, so you just need to be ready for them.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
You're very, very welcome. And I'm just reading on my screen here about Helen Reddy from my producer. Ain't No Way to Treat a Woman. Don't treat a lady, I beg your pardon. Angie Baby, written by a past friend of mine, Alan O'Day. Well, we want to thank you, Alan O'Day, for that beautiful song, because Angie Baby is actually one of my other favourite songs. I mean, I like just about everything that Helen Reddy ever sang. I mean, you know, very powerful, very dynamic woman. I've seen a number of interviews of her. So we're just waiting for our next caller to come through. So I'll just continue to do a little bit of talking. So I'll just tease up a little bit. Next week we're going to be talking about a very, very dynamic Sagittarian male, someone that departed the planet a long time ago now, but his work has lived on and just gone through many generations. And I even know that my son, who's quite grown up now, is one of his biggest fans. And it's interesting to see a much, much younger generation really still sort of relating to the music of that era. So that's now whetted your appetite. Who could that be? A famous Sagittarian male. Now we're going to go to Susan in Portland in Oregon. Are you there, Susan?
Hello.
Hi, Susan. How are you? How can I help you tonight?
Wonderful. How are you?
Very well, thank you, sweetie. Have you got a question for me?
Yes, I had a health question. I've got a surgery coming up. Just curious about it.
Okay, technically by law we're not supposed to answer health questions, but how I can get around this for you, Susan, is I don't feel anything untoward. I feel with this surgery, this is something that you sort of almost procrastinated with. You sort of put it off, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, and I'm not saying you shouldn't have done that. I mean, I'm just saying, I just sort of feel that by doing that, I was going to say, I think you've researched this thoroughly. You now are in a comfortable position where you feel that this is the right answer, that this is the only solution to your health issue. And I'm going to say to you, you're right. I think it's going to be very successful. And I feel that you're going to be very surprised, Susan, that how much you come through the other side of this operation quickly. And I'm going to say it's all down to your attitude, because you're going into this knowing in a comfortable position that this is the only solution. Like, I've made the right choice. This is the right thing for my body and my health moving forward. So this is why the impact of the surgery will be, in a sense, less of a shock to the body than it would have been if it had been something that had been sprung on you and you hadn't had time to think about it and were still questioning it. So, that's why you'll come out the other side and heal a lot quicker than what you normally would have. So that's a good thing.
Thank you. What about an outlook on 2019?
Okay, 2019 is going to start off a little bit slow, Susan, and I don't want you to be disappointed by that, because I want you to look at your new year won't actually start until about March. So it's like, come through the operation, give yourself time to heal, give yourself time to regroup about what's the next things I want to bring into my life. And then let's just slowly glide into 2019, not in any great rush to kick anything new off till about March. Then I feel things are going to be very, very sort of action-packed. We won't have time to scratch, and that's good. So are we looking to change our job next year, Susan?
Perhaps, yes.
Because I'm seeing a new job. I would have said around April, May. It's sort of like up until then, I think the one you've got will do. It's okay. I don't really see any great opportunities to advance where you are. It's like I've gone as far as I can go. And, yeah, I could sit there and I could be comfortable, but you're not that sort of person. You need to have something to get your teeth into all the time. You need new opportunities coming towards you, and that's what I feel. But I also sort of feel there's a couple of trips next year as well. It's going to be a very busy year once we get past March, Susan.
Wow, that's wonderful. Thank you. Anything else?
No, everything else in your life seems to be clear. I think you just need to be, just get ready for your minor surgery and just, allow yourself that time to sort of heal and do nothing and watch the telly and read a book and just enjoy it. You know what I mean? You need to let the body heal, and then you'll be ready to go next year.
Well, thank you very much.
You're very, very welcome. So we've come to the end of the show again now. I mean, I know it goes very, very quickly. For those of you that might like a private reading, you can head to my website, www.amandahallpsychic.com.au. While you're there, join into our newsletter, and you can qualify then for a free astrology chart that'll be emailed to you anywhere in the world that's personal just for you. For those of you that want to know a little bit more about dreams, I'll be actually doing a Facebook Live dream workshop over on Facebook directly after this on my page of Amanda Hall over there. You're more than welcome to join us. It's free, of course. And on next week's show, as I said, we're going to have somebody exciting. We're talking about a male Sagittarian that really did take the music world by storm and left an amazing legacy for many, many generations to share. We'll have our candle of the week. We'll have our little glimpse around the universe. And, of course, we'll have our Simply Tarot card of the week as well. So I hope until next week that you're really kind to each other and you really do make each day count. Always live today as if it's your last day on earth. What would be the last thing that you would like people to remember you for? And just be kind to each other, because kindness and a smile and love does certainly make the world go round. So until next week, bye for now. Have a great week. Bye for now.
stunning. It's Wednesday, one of your favorite time of the day on Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, because I get to come talk to you guys. If you all wonder why I'm always like incredibly smiley and happy when I'm coming on, when you see me on the show, it's because our amazing producer, Dave, always makes us laugh, and I always like to give him a shout out when when I'm thinking about it. But I'm always giggling and laughing hysterically because he's awesome. So just a shout out to Dave, and of course Connie too, because they're really great. So I hope you're all having a fantastic Wednesday. I can tell you that we have had rain here the past few days, which is fantastic, which means the smoke is dissipating, which also means that I'm currently boiling my butt off right now because energy is coming in really strong, and which is always good for you guys, right? So that's fun. So I'm just currently waiting for some callers to come in. So if you're looking for free reading, you got to contact A1R Psychic Radio Network and get your name on the list. But while I'm waiting for a caller, which I'm super excited about, I wanted to tell you guys that if you're not able to get through on the radio station this way and you're still looking for a reading, you can always go to my website, and I have lots of different options. But let's say you work during the week, or you're just not able to have that telephone or one-on-one reading. I have this really great thing that came to me through Inspiration with Spirit, and I got to back up a little bit here, got a little too close. I call them my spirit journals, and what I do is I write down, sorry, you're probably getting glare off there, I'm going to bring it down a little bit. This is just one of the different options that I have, but I connect with your personal guides, and I write down all of their messages in this little book, and it's usually about anywhere between 11 to 15 pages of personalized messages that directly will help you in your life and on your path right now, which I love doing these. I think they're really great. I've sold probably over like 200 of them now since I launched them in January, I think was when I launched them, and they're a lot of fun for me to do. So if you're looking for information on that, you can either go to my website and look under readings under the tab journal, or you can directly Facebook message me, and I'm happy to direct that. They're currently available only in Canada and the US, just for shipping reasons. But if you are living outside of that and you still want one, contact me directly, and we can figure out what the shipping cost would be. Okay, so that's just what I wanted to share. Holy Hannah, I don't know about you guys, but I'm boiling. Okay, and I'm good for a caller whenever you guys are here, whenever you're good to call in. I'm super excited this week. So I was a little tired today because I had a whole bunch of running around, so I drank a cup of coffee with caffeine, and I never do that. Hi Shireen, I hear we have Shireen, and I'm sorry, I totally missed where you were calling from. Hi Shireen.
Hi Sarah, how are you?
I am just fine, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
That is good. Where are you calling from?
Australia.
Oh my goodness. Oh, what time is it in Australia?
It's 11:30 in the morning.
11:30 in the morning. Oh, that is a great time to be up and awake. Oh, thank you so much for joining me today. I feel so excited that I have someone across the world with me today. That's amazing.
Well, that's excellent.
My mom was in Australia in December of last year, and she said it was the most beautiful place she's ever visited, and she just loved your country, and she didn't want to come home. She was there for 3 months.
Oh, it is really nice here.
Sorry, say that again?
Sorry?
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
I said it is very, very nice in Australia. It's a lovely place.
It is, yes, absolutely. Okay, well, I'm just I'm shuffling some cards here and just waiting for that connection to come through. And funny enough, I feel like I do have someone coming through, but before I talk about that, before I talk about sorry, I just saw a little note on my screen. I didn't quite catch it, but that's okay. Okay, so I'm just shuffling some cards here for you today to give you some advice. And it's Shireen. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. What a beautiful name. I absolutely love that. Oh,
thank you.
Oh, yeah. No, that's absolutely beautiful. Okay, I'm just Shreen, I have a question for you, and I do feel like I have a female coming forward for you. Has your mom passed?
My mom?
Yeah, has your mom passed away?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to hear. I'm happy that she hasn't. I just have a female. You know, it's so funny because like every time I do mediumship like this, I get extremely nervous, and I'm like, oh my God, what if I'm wrong and stuff. But I know that there's a female coming forward for you really strongly. Is your grandma on your mom's side passed?
Yes.
Okay. Did you know her really well? Would that be correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I keep seeing random animals with her. Was she like a very much an animal lover?
Yes, she was. Yeah, she always had animals. Yep.
Oh, I love that. That's really great. She must, and I feel like this is so like, how do I put this? I keep wanting to be like, well, that of course is what it is because you're in Australia, it's hot. But she just really must have loved being outside and loved the sun. Would that make sense for her?
Yeah, yep.
Okay. That is, she shows me, now it's hard for me to relate to everything that she's showing me because it's such a different place where you guys are, but would you say that she enjoyed hiking and everything?
Not that I remember as too much.
Is it you that enjoys going out and hiking?
Sorry?
Are you somebody that enjoys being outside and going on hikes and stuff? Would it be you?
Yeah, it could be. Yep.
Okay, I just see like this really beautiful kind of like rock formation and just going out and enjoying the hikes and stuff like that. So you must be quite the outdoors person as well.
Yes.
Okay, I love that. She passed quite some time ago. Is that correct?
No, actually, very recently.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that interesting? Would it be the fact, sorry, I had to move from my screen because your card fell out. But Shreen, is it just that you're very much like, I would say just at peace with her passing, like you knew it was her time to go and that it was okay for her to go?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I think that's why, because I just feel so much peace about her passing, and as hard as it is and everything, it was just ended up being easier for her because she lived for quite a while. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to keep telling you that she's just she must have been really spunky. Like she's got a really good sense of humor and just kind of has this bit of a spunky attitude about her. Would that make sense for her?
Yeah, that sounds like her.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, she's still spunky on the other side and full of energy, and it's just really important for you to know that she's around and that she's like, I'm never leaving. There, I'm hanging out with them and we're having fun. So I'm just gonna, as I was shuffling your cards, the very first card that flew out, I'm just gonna show it to you. I hope you can see it because the glare on my with my lights is kind of bad right now, but it's what's called the first chakra or Archangel Michael card. And do you know anything about chakras at all, Shreen?
A little bit, not too much.
Okay. Perfect. That's okay. You don't need to know a lot for this. But when it's talking about your first chakra, it's also what's called the root chakra. And I probably have personally two favorite chakras, and it's probably the root as well as the heart. But the root one is so important, or the base chakra or the first chakra or the red chakra, however you want to talk about it or label it, is so important because it's what keeps us really level and keeps us emotionally grounded and very stable. And it's interesting because as I talk about this, I feel that you're actually I would say you're actually a pretty level person. Your emotions don't get the better of you. And you're pretty not disconnected from your emotions, but you understand your emotions very well. Would you agree with that?
Yep.
Awesome. The one thing that I would encourage you about this card is to remember that it's still a good thing to reach out to other people and connect to other people and let them know how you're feeling about things, and not being afraid to open up about that, not just with someone that's really close to you, with you, but other people as well. And I keep wanting to be like, don't shy away from your feelings. Understand that you're allowed to have them, even if other people don't agree with them. Because I feel like even though you're very grounded, I feel like you keep your emotions or your feelings really close to the chest. Like it's almost something that's private to you. Does that make sense for you?
Yes, it does, definitely.
Okay, and that's okay. That's just, everybody's different and everybody has their own way to deal with things. But for you, I would encourage you to open up a little bit more about them and not be so hard on yourself about them, and reminding yourself that not all emotions make sense. Emotions are emotions. They're not logical. They just are what they are. And sometimes the other thing I want to remind you is right now, Archangel Michael is really strong with you. So sometimes, that's interesting. I just heard sometimes you really, you know that you can ask for help, but you just don't know how, or you don't know who to turn to, whether it's to a friend or whether it's energetically, because you're actually quite interested in how all of this energy stuff works. Is that right?
Yes.
Perfect. Keep going with it. It's a learning process. It's like a bud. When we're on our journey, it's like a flower bud. It opens exactly when it should, and not a moment sooner. So even if you're like, well, I want to do it right, don't worry about doing it right. Just start moving on your journey. And if you don't know who to call on for assistance, Archangel Michael is the perfect archangel to call on, because he's like, I always call him the badass archangel. Because if you don't know who to call on specifically, he's the one to call on. You can be like, hey, Archangel Michael, I need a little bit of help here. Or you can just be like, Michael, come on, give me some love. I need to feel that, so that I feel more grounded, so that I feel more level, and I feel like more myself again. And so once you start doing that as practice, and the other thing I want to tell you is keep believing and keep trusting, even on days where you feel like you've messed up, because you haven't messed up if you've learned from it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep, definitely.
Awesome. Perfect. Do you have any questions for me at all?
My health. Can you pick up anything on that?
I'm the medium or psychic that I struggle with health questions. I'll be completely honest. And the reason why is because the messages are so subjective. The only thing that I actually want, which is so interesting, but as I say that, I literally hear, Shireen, you need to drink more water. You're not drinking enough water. Are you someone that struggles with getting enough water into your system?
No, not really. I do drink a lot of water.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Are you not, or do you find that when you're working out or going hiking, perhaps you're not getting enough water? Because I keep wanting to be like, you're drinking enough, but at the same time, when you increase your activity, you need to increase your water intake.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, like usually, sometimes I'll be like, oh, I don't usually comment on health because it's so subjective. But at the same time, usually when I say that, something will come in, and I actually don't feel like there's all that much to worry about in regards to your health. I'm not sure if there is something that's concerning you, but I just feel really calm and really quiet about it. So I think, as hard as it is and as challenging it is, the worst thing we can do is worry about things that are not in our control. So when you just focus your mind on having good health, you'll have that. That doesn't mean you'll have perfect health. Of course, there's things that will, we're human, so we have these human frail bodies. But if you just take the time to focus on that, you're good to go.
Okay. Excellent.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much for calling, Shireen, and it was such a pleasure to talk to Australia today. Thank you so much. I'm talking to you, and I hope you have an excellent day.
Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Bye. All right, and I hear we have Wendy from North Carolina. Hi, Wendy.
Yes, hello.
How are you?
Okay.
Are you having a bad day?
I'm
every day it's hard for me to function every day. So.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Well, I am sending you tons of love, and I'm sending you big hugs. And I truly believe that as soon as I say that, I believe it comes to you. So, as soon as I connect with you and as soon as I talk to you, I keep wanting to tell you, you really don't have to worry about doing what's so-called the right things the right way. You need to figure out what is good for you in all areas of your life. Because I feel like you've always had this little voice in your head telling you, oh, you could have done that better, or you should have done this better, or, if you had tried harder or pre-planned things, you could have done that better as well. Does that make sense?
Yes, I've made a lot of bad choices, so now I'm just kind of at a point in my life where I just want to do what's right for me and my kids, and I'm kind of confused right now on which direction I want to go.
Okay.
So, I'm in a good spot right now. I'm doing well, but I want to. This is not where I want to be forever, so I'm kind of confused on which direction to go.
Okay, perfect.
As far as
let's
that.
do some clarity. The first thing that I want to talk to you about, Wendy, is sometimes the hardest, you know how when somebody hurts us or does something, but we love them and we forgive them very easily because we love them, right? So we say, it's okay, I love you, let's move forward. I want to keep telling you that you need to do that for yourself. Because even though I think that you've recognized that forgiveness has happened for yourself, a part of you is still, but I should have known better. And forgiveness is it's okay, because every step that I have taken, good, negative, bad, whatever, has led me to where I am now, has given me children, has given me lots of lessons, and has taught me how to land on my own 2 feet very independently. Those are something to even, it's like being a diamond in the rough. So right now you're starting to get all shiny and everything because you're realizing that everything that has happened hasn't happened to you personally. It's just a choices that you've made. So you have to forgive yourself for the past as well as anybody else that's involved in it. Does that make sense? Do you understand that?
Yes, I stay in a lot of fear of the unknown. So that's why I say it's hard for me to function, because I have a lot of anxiety all the time, and a lot of it's surrounded by my kids for some reason. And it's just like I always think something's going to happen. So it's kind of hard for me, I just have really bad anxiety, and I have a lot of guilt from some of the things that I have done. And now it's like, okay, it's like I'm running out of time. I just want to get, I want to get somewhere. I want to make my kids happy. I want to just, it's like, I can't describe it.
No, I can appreciate what you're saying, and I understand a bit of it and everything, but I can understand what you're saying for sure. But what I want to remind you is that in those moments, let's say you've done, in your mind, you have done some really terrible things and you just wish that you could go back. But the thing is, you can't go back. But let's face it, you did the best you could with what you had in those moments. So I think that's where you've got to start accepting that and understanding that, because and even if you're like, well, I should have taken choice A because I knew that was a better choice, but I chose B because it was selfish and that's what I wanted to do and what I wanted to be. That's okay. And I'm not saying that you were being selfish, but you have to remember that in that moment, that was what was best for you. And what you did was just okay, and you can't change it, so you can't keep beating yourself up over it. And the other thing too is when there's kids involved, you have to remember that you still have good kids, even though they make different choices or there's other things going on. You still have to remember that you love them, and that's the bottom line. Do you understand that? Does that make sense?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And this is part of your journey, Wendy. This is 100% part of your journey to understand forgiving other people, forgiving yourself, and letting go of the guilt and anxiety, because guilt and anxiety, it can be energetic, but a lot of that is also fear. And when we've lived in fear for so long, it's hard to pop out of that vibration. But the minute you start putting yourself down, that's when your higher self is going, hey, let's bring this back to love. And it's hard. It's not always the easiest easiest thing to change our vibration, because as a society we live in fear. But if you recognize, the more you recognize it, the faster you'll see the change, and the faster you'll be able to pull yourself out of that slump. But it takes time. Since I became aware of it, it's taken me like a good 5, maybe 6 years to really be able to pull my mind out of that fear trap. But the more you trust it, the easier it gets and stuff. But what's really nice is so the card that popped out for you is Door to Personal Healing and Happiness. And it makes 100% sense to me, or 100% sense to me for you to have this card. I'm sorry, I can tell that it's not very clear on my screen if you see that video later. But I think the thing that you have to remember is that you're kind of trapped in a little room right now of doubt, fears. We always think, oh, I should have been better, because especially in today's society, we're always striving to be better. But the thing about being in that little room, what's really exciting is you have the choice to open that door and being okay with that. So you're there right now. I feel like you're standing in front of the door, and I feel like you've opened it a crack, but you have to completely open it. And the other thing about this is when we open that door, what we're doing is we're basically saying, I'm ready for healthy love in my life, but that healthy love in your life is not necessarily love, or it's a love for yourself, a healthy love for yourself, which is the cornerstone to a really good, happy life. And that is going to be as easy or as difficult as you would like it to be. So sometimes, when we're growing up, the scariest thing that sometimes we did was learning how to ride a bike without training wheels. So first we put the training wheels on, we learn how to ride the bike, and then eventually the training wheels come off. And even though we know we can ride the bike, when those training wheels are first off, we're a little wobbly, we're a little shaky, but then we just go and we're like, wow, I never needed those training wheels, I'm good. So right now you're kind of at the training wheel stage, and that's okay. Even if you're an adult and you still got those training wheels, it doesn't matter, because what matters is that you're going forward and you're recognizing that the wheels are there, and that means that you're getting a good support system. You're starting to take care of yourself. I just heard getting clean. Like, are not necessarily with drugs, but like clean can be like clean eating, clean frame of mind, clean emotions, learning how to love yourself more. Does that so far all make sense? Like, can you relate to all of that so far?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. I guess it's with myself. Like I said, I stay in fear a lot. Just I'm not really sure. I just stay in fear of not knowing what's going to happen.
Do you want to change that up? Sorry, do you want to change that up? Or some people don't, and that's okay. That's your personal choice.
Oh, I would love to.
Okay, perfect. So this is what you're going to do. This is what I'm going to task you with for the next while, is as soon as you wake up in the morning and you go to the bathroom and you start getting ready, I want you to find one feature on yourself that you are going to say, you are rocking that. One of my really good friends, she was having a bad day, and she's like, there is nothing that I see in the mirror that I like. And I was like, what about your eyebrows? Your eyebrows are amazing. She's like, yeah, I do love my eyebrows. And I was like, so every day you're going to start off by saying, I am rocking these eyebrows. I am rocking these eyebrows, and I'm kicking ass. So find one thing that you absolutely love about yourself. And anytime you start putting yourself down or being like, Wendy, you should have known better, or Wendy, you should have made better choices, be like, yeah, I maybe could have, but I'm rocking these eyebrows, and that's what matters. Do you think you can do that every day?
Yeah, I can do that.
Perfect. And then what you're going to start doing is after a week or even 2 weeks after doing that every day, you're going to add one more thing in. You're going to be like, yeah, I'm rocking this hair too. Yeah, I love my eyebrows, or I love my nose, and I'm rocking this hair too. I got some really nice hair, and I take care of myself. And then what happens is that is a slow step to changing your vibration. And the more you change your vibration into love, the less fear, the less anxiety that you will have. Okay?
Okay.
I wish you nothing but the best, Wendy. I think you're going to rock it, especially since you've got the card telling you that you're right in front of that door to personal healing and happiness. And that also gives you an idea that your happiness is in your hands, which is always encouraging to know as well. Life doesn't happen to us personally. Life just happens as a result of our decisions. And we just have to kind of learn to live with the consequences of those decisions, whether they're good, whether they're bad. And I don't even like saying that we've made bad decisions. I think we just have an experience. We just have a lesson to move from. So that's everything that I have for you out of that card. And I hope that I'm sending you tons of love, and I wish you nothing but the best on that.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Wendy, for calling. I really appreciate it. I've got 30 seconds for everybody, so I really appreciate your call.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye, Wendy. And thank you to everybody else that joined me today. I love my show. Love and light to all of you, as always. And I can't wait to see you next Wednesday. It's going to be a great day. So anybody in Canada, have a great long weekend, because I know we all have it. And everybody else going to school, have fun in school.
Hi, I'm Anna Olson. This is Insights into Consciousness. You can reach me on my website, annaolsonintuitive.com. Today, I'm going to be doing a show on mediumship and a lot of questions that I get about mediumship. You can also, by the way, access this show on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and LinkedIn under A1R Radio. And you can also download the A1R Radio app on any operating system. You can also access this show, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Play, or WBWT 101.5 FM in Greenville, South Carolina. Or you can go to askoneradio.com, and you'll see my bio there, and you can get information on how to get a reading if you call in. I'm also today going to give you information on how to win a free reading by me, a personal free reading, one-on-one with me. I'm really excited to give this away because I know that there are people who really want a reading and may not have the capability to do that right now. So I'm going to let you know how to do that. You're going to go to annaolsonintuitive.com. You're going to click on the upper right-hand little line thing on the right-hand side, and you're going to just go to my contact information. You're going to send me an email with the word medium in it, and I will enter you into a drawing to win a private reading with me on the phone or video or in person, whichever is most convenient for you or whichever you feel comfortable with. So I'm really excited to talk to you. I'm really excited to give you a reading in person. So today I'm also going to try to take a caller on the show live. This is always done live, and I never know who I'm going to get. It's very hit or miss. Don't know who's calling or what they're calling about. All I know is their first name and where they're from. So again, a little bit about me. I know I'm pretty new here, so I'd like to just give you a little information on what I do and why I'm here. I am a lifelong intuitive. I've been doing this since I was small. I've been able to connect with those who have passed. Had a lot of experiences where I've dreamt about things that are going to happen, or if someone is going to pass. I've also dreamt about that, or I've told people or warned them about accidents, such as car accidents. And a lot of the times growing up, I've had friends that had the wide-eyed stare at me, and sometimes they're a little scared, but now as an adult, it's been great because a lot of my friends are also intuitives. I've been able to find my people, or people just completely accept that that's the way it is. I'm also a Reiki practitioner, and I do space clearings. Again, if you'd like to reach me, my website is www.annaolsonintuitive.com. You can also read my bio on askoneradio.com if you'd like to see a detailed bio of me there. So my topic today is going to be on mediumship. How do I receive messages? This is a really common question, and I love to do readings for people. I'm happy to do readings for people if they feel more comfortable letting spirit come through with me. I am very happy to do so. I love to do it. There's so much healing that goes on. I sometimes end up crying so much that I'm a little embarrassed, but it's because it's a beautiful experience where I feel like heaven touches earth, and I'm always happy to do it. I'm always just walking away a better person, having learned more and having experienced more of this beautiful life that way. One of the things that actually happened today was when I did a reading, I was able to see somebody's friend that had passed through a domestic violence situation. So never talked to the person before about any of it. I think we had a brief conversation that she wanted a reading, and we scheduled, and that was it prior to the reading. So we start the reading, and she said that she'd like to connect with her friend that died. First thing I saw was, it's like a reel of film that goes across my mind's eye. I guess you could say it's kind of like if you're having a memory or you're seeing something or recalling something that you saw maybe on a TV show. That's one way to look at it, or to explain the experience. You kind of see things in your mind's eye. When I do it, I see things in my mind's eye. So the first thing I saw was her friend being assaulted by her husband. And she broke down and cried and said, yes, that's exactly what happened. And she needed some time to catch her breath. And then, of course, I got teary-eyed because I'm experiencing her grief and her tears. But at the same time, I know that it's wonderful because she's healing. And that's really what I want to get at with the mediumship. We should never have a bad relationship with the mediumship technique. It should be that mediumship is healing. Mediumship is a good experience. You walk away from a medium experience feeling healed, getting answers, and feeling more hopeful about your own life and about the person that passed when you're done. Another thing that happens with these readings is there's a reel. It's almost like a film reel that goes through my mind, and I can see everything. I can see the person, how they passed. I see, just from connecting with this person's energy on the phone or on video or in person, I connect with things that have happened in their lives or the person's life that passed. So most of the time, I can look at it as if I'm watching a movie, but it's more in a reel, kind of like it's passing through on a reel. And I can see it scene by scene as if I'm watching a movie, and I can describe the things that I'm seeing to the person. And today I was able to share with the person what their loved one was doing on the other side, what their dreams meant about that person. And one thing I wanted to cover specifically is when we have dreams after a person passes, how do we differentiate between a stress dream where we're processing trauma or grief and a dream where we are actually having an interaction with that person, with spirit? This is a very, very good question, if anybody's had this question. And I know I've had that question when I was starting out. Most of the time, if the dream is very stressful, you're waking up in a cold sweat, or you feel very just traumatized. If you're waking up in a cold sweat, you feel like you're processing, you're having a bad experience with it, or you're very, very upset when you have the dream about the past loved one. Usually that means that your brain is processing trauma. Your brain is going through a grieving process, which is a normal human reaction. It's the same as digesting food, or sweating when you get too hot, or getting goosebumps when you're too cold. It's what your nervous system does to process an emotional trauma. Usually these dreams are basically upsetting, traumatizing, or intrusive. When you're really connecting with the spirit of your loved one, and you've had, even if you've had not so great of an experience with them or relationship with them in your lifetime, it will feel more peaceful, natural, and like they're right there with you. Many people will dream about the person visiting them or being in another place with them. And I could go into the detail about how this happens. There's a lot of things like quantum physics that we know about the universe that scientists are learning more and more about every day. Basically, if it's a very vivid dream, or you feel very, very strongly after the dream, that was a connection with spirit, with the person in person. So these are things that a lot of people really want to know. So I'd love to cover some of these subjects and these topics so that people can kind of do their own work, and people can kind of work on their own intuition so that they can end up having a better relationship with themselves in the way of learning about their higher selves, how they receive messages from spirit, how they connect with their guides, how they connect with their own angels, so that, you know, not only do we help them as readers or intuitives, but they can start to learn to trust themselves and learn to do this on their own. And everybody has different gifts, different ways that they've developed their intuition. There's about 12 senses that human beings have. So we have our 5 senses. Those are the ones that we're taught in school about, you know, our in our science class: sight, sound, taste, smell, the 5 senses. So those are part of our bodies, and that is very focused on our physical self. So when we actually have these intuitions and we think it's kind of amazing, to an intuitive, it's more natural, but to a lot of people who are not as learned on how to use your intuition, although I believe everybody is to some degree, and maybe they blocked it out or they weren't listened to when they were younger because their parents were afraid that they'd sound a little out there, which is understandable. Well, a lot of the times these other senses, in addition to the 5 that add up to 12, they're basically things that you would know right offhand what you have or what you've had more practice with. For instance, sometimes people can smell when someone's near, like their grandmother's perfume, and suddenly they'll smell it and they'll know that their grandmother's with them. That's one sense. Of course, we know that that is also one of the 5 physical senses, but that is in addition an intuitive sense. Sometimes when I've done readings, I have lost my eyesight for some time because I needed to give a message to the person that I was doing the reading for that they were not losing their vision, that they were having migraines. Or, you know, there's so many different ways spirit comes through. Physical is one of them in all of our 5 senses, and then there's other senses as well. So in the future, I'm going to delve into those more, but mediumship is one all-encompassing, very deep level of intuition that most people have had some sort of experience with, whether it be going into a building and feeling presence of spirit in some way because maybe somebody had passed there. Or it could be that they had a loved one or a friend pass and they experienced feeling their presence, or they seem to be getting symbols or different signs that their loved one was around, such as butterflies, that's a common one, or hummingbirds, birds, things that fly tend to be a good one, or any sort of nature, could be flowers, could be a type of church or certain religion. So the signs and symbols are as vast as the possibilities are just incredible. So these are all little bits and pieces of mediumship. It goes much deeper than that. But basically, what I'd like to touch on is that mediumship is mostly connecting with spirit in a telepathic way. And it's usually not explained by mediums because most people don't understand, but I'd love to explain it a bit. That you're receiving, what it is you receive messages in pictures, words, smells, and physical senses through spirit as a way of communication when they are no longer in a physical body. And the only way for them to do that with their spirit at that point is telepathically. Now, some people hear things as if, you know, messages from spirit as if they were listening to somebody in the same room. And I myself have not had that experience, but many people have. So this can go many different ways. And I would also love to delve into it deeper with many people who seem to be interested in developing their gifts as either their mediumship gifts or just asking questions about, what does this mean? I had this experience. Can you help me understand this? So basically, I'd love to get classes going on for people who want to develop these senses or to make sense out of these senses. It's basically an Intuition 101 class. And I'd love to start this online and in person. So again, I'll be posting these classes, this series, on my website at AnnaOlsonIntuitive.com. And that's where you'll be able to find that in the near future. You can also message me on my website to inquire about these classes. So I'd like to take a caller to do a reading real quick, a reading live here. So I don't have the name. What is the name? Lori?
Lori. Mm-hmm.
Hi. How are you?
Hi. I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. So it looks like we have a few more minutes. What can I do for you?
It seems that a lot of things have been going downhill lately, and I was just wondering when they were going to turn around.
Okay. Okay. Is there a specific topic that you'd like to focus on? Or is it just you want to know, like, the universal consciousness?
Just general, like I've lost 2 cars, and it just seems like since then everything's been going downhill.
Okay. Was this in the last 2 months?
Yes.
Okay. Well, this is really interesting that, a lot of people are having a hard time right now. And I know that my last caller last week was also really losing connection with spirit and things like that with her intuition. And you're touching on, I think, the same thing. We have, in astrology right now, we have many planets in retrograde. In the past 2 months, we've had the longest eclipse in the 21st century. We've also had 5 planets in retrograde, including Mercury. Now, in the mid-September range, these things are going to start to straighten out again. And some people feel it a little bit more than others. But I want you to know you're not alone. I've been hearing this in my readings. I've been seeing it all around me. It's not just you. It's not you targeted specifically. This is a universal consciousness, and it's a ebb and flow of the planetary system and how it affects us and our behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And it should start to get better mid-September. So I know it still feels really heavy right now. People have been really dealing with a lot of things emotionally with, processing trauma, processing grief. But there's a lot of good that's going to come out of this. It's kind of like taking a long nap energetically, and then you wake up refreshed. So
that's what happened. I took a nap, and I woke up, and my van got hit, and it went downhill from there.
Oh,
Honest.
my goodness. Okay, so you literally took a nap. And woke up and your van was
never take naps, but I took a nap, and my husband woke me up and said the van was hit, and I lost 2 cars in one day. And the things have been cycling down, and now my daughter's house is, the basement was being fixed, and they spread mold through her house, and we're trying to go through a lawsuit with that, and I don't know how that's going to pan out. We have a new baby on board with that, and she's living with us, and I don't know how that's going to pan out, and it's just one thing after another. There's a whole bunch of stuff that happened in the middle of it, which I won't, go into, but it's just every day there's something different. So
yeah, that is a good explanation of what people have been experiencing over, especially the last month to 2 months. So
yeah.
Really, I want to give you a little, some hope here that this is going to really straighten out soon, and not to worry that this will get better. I feel like you are very influenced by the planetary goings on, the moon. How do you feel during full moon? Do you pay attention to that much, or?
Oh yeah, because usually it's 3 days before, during, and after that things like go on, and I do connect to my dreams. I can see things that are going to happen. Like I'll dream about it and it happens, or I can tell you like what happened. I can feel people. I can tell people about their loved ones. I'm connected like that. But I just can't seem to get out of this funk. Like, it seems like this black cloud is just looming over, as I call it.
I understand. I hear you. And one way to look at this so that you're, even just on a psychological level, to relieve stress is to look at it in a way of, this is a way of processing. And once your processing time period is through, you're going to be able to start new. So as difficult it is to lose 2 vehicles that you probably really depend on and you really need in your life, as hard as it is to lose them, the way to look at it in this scope is to say, what new car do I get? And, out with the old, in with the new. You're just going to focus on these really positive things that's going to come of these downfalls and these stumbles. So new car, we get to find a new place to live. It's to look forward to the rebirth and to the next chapter. And that's really what is happening. It's uprooting the old, it's uprooting the subconscious, it's uprooting all the things that are traumatic. And what we do is look forward to what's coming, the rebirth, the new stuff. And the issue with this is, same way in a harvest, you're going to sow the earth, the plants grow, you reap the harvest, and it's barren after that, but then you replant. It's an ongoing process. This is a process of basically loss and then regrowth, as is the seasons of life. And I'm really getting the wheel, the wheel. I don't know if you're familiar with tarot, but like the wheel of life, it has to do with, seasons coming and going, rebirth, replanting. And I see good things coming for you. So, I like to see it more as, okay, we get the new, we get the rebirth.
Okay.
All
right.
And we are having some storms in the production area, so I just wanted to say, sorry if there are any interruptions in the recording. Are there any other things that I can help you with, or do you have any other questions or anything else you'd like to focus on?
I just wanted to know if also my daughter's house would be resolved on a positive note versus a total loss.
I feel like her house is going to need a lot of renovations, and that's going to be a decision that she's going to have to make. I just want to highlight the fact that there are cheaper ways to do it than she realizes right now. So I think that they're looking into having somebody do it, and they need to get a few different people to look at it to offer different ways. But that there could be a much cheaper way to do it, and to have
somebody came in to do it, and they did it wrong, and they took a lot of money. So we need to decide whether to press forward with the lawsuit because they did it wrong and caused a lot of damage.
I'm so sorry. That's
terrible. What we're trying to decide. Yeah, they spread mold through the house by not knowing what they were doing.
Wow.
So we're trying to
that's
decide
a choice that
whether,
she has to make.
Yeah.
That's a hard decision, and that's her decision to make. But I really feel like somebody else could come in and take care of that mold for much cheaper than she realizes. We have just a minute left, so thank you so much for calling, and I hope everything works out. Don't worry, the good's coming. I promise.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Take care.
I guess that's it for tonight, and we will see you next week on Thursday at 6:30 Pacific Standard Time, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week.
Hi, I'm Asia, and thanks for watching Moonstruck. And now, back to A1R on the air. Psychic Talk Radio, now, on Moonstruck TV, enlightening television.
Hi guys, good evening. Welcome to the Medium Garuda show on A1R Psychic Radio. So, I've been away for a while, but I'm ready to rock and roll again for some nice live psychic readings. Normally, we should have 2 readings this evening, so I hope I will have a reading very quickly, because I didn't prepare anything. So you see me talking right now, and I don't have any piece of paper in front of me. I'm really excited, and I really want to talk a little bit also about something that can give you some strength, for especially people who are waiting for their specific love in their life. How would you deal with that? Would you put your life on hold, or would you move on, or are you trying to pull the person to you? What are your intentions? What is the best way to act in your personal life? Well, many people are in a situation they feel alone, like they are waiting for that specific someone entering their life, or they are waiting for that specific person which is still a little bit in the past, and once they want to share their complete life with and grow old with. Well, how are you going to deal with such a situation? Because it's difficult to keep faith in the fact that this person will be with you in a certain time frame. Well, the best thing you can do is move on with your own life. Don't wait for this person. And why don't wait? Because when you wait for somebody, it takes a lot of time. Because if you wait, you are aware of the time which is moving and moving. So you are counting the seconds, so to speak. So the best way for yourself is just move on with your life. Try to invest in your career. Try to invest into yourself. Just give a little bit of attention to that person when he's asking for that, or she, of course, because it can be a he or a she. It depends on the situation. If it is a person like a person in the past, and the communication is a little bit difficult, try to be yourself, try to be relaxed in that situation, try to not push your limits. So, if you pay not too much attention to that situation, to that person will be a little bit curious. And that person will communicate with you, because this person is curious if you are going to move on with your life with another person. So, he's afraid of losing you. So if you have created such a point of view, that's bingo, because in such a situation you create that this person will be pulling at your side. So he will try to, he or she of course, to make himself clear to you in your situation that you can move on with your life with that person and grow old with this person. So, but it is always difficult. If there's somebody you are focusing on, you are afraid of losing this connection, but try to have self-confidence and try to have faith in yourself. You are not alone. You are always with a lot of people, a lot of energies also on the other side. And that person, who are you waiting for? If that person will be in your life, you are not alone. So create your own happiness by moving on with your life, and by moving on with your own life, you will force your environment by focusing on you, so they will move on with you. So you're not alone anymore. And I already see I am also not alone this evening, because we already have a caller. It's a quick one. It's Kate from Waco, Texas. Good evening, Kate.
Yes.
Are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, super. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, and I understand everything that you said to me, because I think the more you search for something, the further you get from it.
That's it. Because if you pull too tight to some situations, you push them away from yourself.
Yes.
So I
fully understand.
Yeah, because I feel you are struggling with something, because I get the tears in my eyes. So that means to me you are a little bit stuck in some kind of situation.
Yes, I just recently started living on my own for like the first time in my life, and I've been divorced almost 5 years. And so I feel like this is a huge new chapter in my life, and what I thought was missing was love, when really I need to be loving myself.
That's it, because you feel quite alone. That's what I already told a little bit earlier. Feeling alone is difficult to move on with your life, because there is no stimulation, there is no motivation to move on, because there's nothing to live for, so to speak. But you have chosen for yourself, because I feel there was a lot of communication in your past, and the person you were being married with, I feel, because there is still communication inside yourself which may come out, but I don't feel it needs to come out. So your relationship definitely has come to some certain point of an end, so it will not be picked up again. You won't be having a new love life, but it feels to me like your relationship is still very close to you in your past. So that means you decided to move on with your life in a very short time of period.
Yes.
So that means to me you are a little bit struggling, you are a little bit stuck, like I do have to make some choices, but do I make the right choices? Do I want to move on my own? Is there somebody on my path I can grow old with? It is very difficult. I see a person on your path, so that's no, you don't have to worry about that, because it's a male person I see on your path. And it's a male person, and it will come into your life in some kind of combination with your career and your private life. Are you self-employed, or are you having much responsibilities on your job?
I work for doctors' offices doing authorization, so I do have a lot on my plate there.
Yes. So, like your career, you have a because your energy is moving around very rapidly, and you are a little bit of a nervous energy. So that means to me, nervous, not nervous, but restless. So it means to me, your career is quite busy, and it's a demanding career you are having.
Yes.
So I also feel the sadness still inside yourself. It's the sadness from your past. It's like you lost somebody. It is some kind of, it's not only the person you've lost, but it is also a piece of your life, which is in your past right now, which is difficult to accept because you need to move on. You know for yourself you will be moving on, because I see you already made certain choices in your recent past. So that's perfect to me. So you already have crossed the crossroad. You are on the other side of the crossroad.
My mom passed away. That's probably exactly who that is.
Yeah, it's still it's also a little bit of the sadness I feel at your side. It's something which has recently happened in your past. Because your mother feels like a kind of a fresh energy. She is also way too young to pass away.
Yes, she was 44.
Yeah, but it feels to me like it happened yesterday.
Yes, it definitely, she passed away 3 months before I got married. I'm 33 today, and so she would have been like 55, I think, this year. And she passed away whenever I was starting a new chapter in my life with my husband, and now I'm starting this chapter on my own and truly growing into myself since I lost her, because I battled depression really bad.
Well, don't feel bad, because it's easy to say, of course, from my side, but what I want to say is you are used to communicate with your mother, like from mouth to mouth, and you are used to the fact that she is physically connected with you. Right now, it feels to me like she is connected with you in some kind of other way, because your mother, she's giving me some, she's touching me with her hand on top of my head. So she's definitely with us. She's taking care of you. She wants to tell me that she's taking care of you right now, because she is comforting you. It feels to me like she's very close connection to you, and the close connection I feel with your side from your mother, that means to me like, it feels to me like it just happened a month or a few months ago. So strong is that loss still in your appearance. That's also the fact that, because I just told you a few minutes ago that it's not completely your husband who are you missing, but it is the situation. Because you started this situation with the energy of your mother, so to speak. And the energy of your mother was in that relationship. So ending that relationship is also a kind of the feeling you've had about ending a connection with your mother. Because your mother was in that appearance. Your mother was there when you started your relationship, when you started to make some choices. But your mother is now on the other side, because your mother feels to me like she was sick.
Yeah, she was very sick.
Yeah, because I get a lot of, I want to throw up. I'm sorry for those words, but your mother makes me a little bit of sick. So that means that's the way she passed away. She was very sick. She was very young because her body wasn't ready to move yet. Her mind still her mind is still here. That's why her appearance still very, she's really being with you very strongly. And that's because she is very young and she needs to be with you to help you grow up a little bit more, to help you step further. And why is that? It is because you are very spiritual, you are very sensitive. And it is very difficult for you to handle these strong emotions.
That's so true.
Your mother tells me that, and that's really a very beautiful message, because she is, she's comforting me on my head. So that means I need to pass that information to you. She is there for you, and she's also telling me that you are on the right direction right now. So you are making some moves right now in some certain direction. You are not going to choose for your old life, because that's really in your past. So that really has ended. But you are ready to move on with something new. And your mother is there with you. So that means when you started your relationship with your ex-husband, she was there with you. And now you are changing your life, you are changing your career path, because there are some changes on your path. Your mother is still there with you.
Okay.
So she's really comforting you. She's a little bit of guiding you, but there is another energy. It's a kind of a young energy. Did you lost somebody who was really very young? Like, did you have an abortion or a miscarriage?
I did have an abortion. Actually, that my ex-husband and I, when we first got together, he was playing professional baseball, and we were like 22, I believe, and just so young, and we made that choice. And that does bother me, because my son that I had with my husband, he would have had an older brother or sister, and my first child was born on 11/1/11 at 9/11.
Yes.
So my children are definitely very strong beings.
It's a very it's a meaningful weight. What I feel, it's just, your mother shows me, that's really beautiful what your mother shows me, because your mother is telling me right now that the situation is very beautiful. You have a child now on your own right now with you, your son, but there is another son with your mother. Because I really feel that energy on the other side. So there is a little boy on the other side. So your son would have a brother, because it is a boy energy. It's a male energy. This energy is really on its place right now. So that means to me, this energy will not come back to Earth. This energy will be there with you until you also will move to the other side. So this is very beautiful, because your mother and that little brother of your son, so your son, they are in good, he is in good hands. So it feels to me like you are guided in your practical life right now here on earth by your son, and there is a son on the other side who is guiding you, but then in another way, because he is with you, but he is very close to your mother. I don't see that very often, but your mother and your son on the other side, they are behind you both. Normally, I should say, when you will be guided by somebody on the other side, somebody is at your shoulder or at some other point of view, but these two energies are really behind you, next to each other. So they are on the same line, and that means they approve your choices, what you've made right now. So you may proceed, you may move on with your life, make your choices, because there are some choices in your future. I see some career choices, I see some choices on your living environment. So that means in some kind of a near future, you will have to make some certain choices to create a different path for yourself. But the way you move right now, it's perfect. So move on. You will notice you will meet a person in your private life. So you will meet your love life, a permanent love. So not something temporary, but this is the person you grow old with. Black hair. It feels like an energy like 40 years old, some kind of such an age. It's a very mature energy. He's self-employed. He is a business type of man. So he feels to me a little bit like a Latino, but it will be a mixture of Western European and Latino. So it is a very beautiful energy, very sensitive. So this will be a person you grow old with. And I think it will be in some kind of a time frame between now and the 2 years. It depends on your movement on your path.
Okay. That makes perfect sense.
So I hope you...
I wanted to ask you too, here recently, I really have had a strong spiritual awakening in myself again, and I've had several of them in my life. But this one feels so much more different. I feel like there's something I need to know, but I don't know what it could be.
I know you will be having some information inside. It will be also in that 2 years, because those 2 years are there for you to grow into your new path. And grow into your new path, that means you will grow into your spirituality.
Okay.
But I have to move on to our next caller, because otherwise she has less time.
Yes, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it, and God bless.
Thank you very much. God bless you too, and have a great evening. So we have Mary from Cleveland, Ohio. Good evening, Mary.
Hi, good evening. How are you?
I'm very fine, thank you. How are you?
I am well, thank you.
Super. Do you have a question for me, or would you like to have me look generally at you? What would you like to wish?
I would like to ask you a question. It is about my job. I was very, very happy, and I loved what I did, or what I do. But lately, it has been a struggle. So I'm feeling that I need to leave, but I am unsure of what path I want to take.
Yes, let's see what I get through for you, because I don't feel really the struggle. So it means to me the resistance is not that big, and that means to me you already made some choices. So the resistance has been in your past, but I feel some sadness at your side, because to me it feels like you failed in this situation. It's the way you look at this situation. But I think this is the perfect point for you to move on to some other point in your life. Because this is the right moment for you to make a career switch. To me it feels because what I feel about you is you are very sensitive, you are a little bit insecure, uncertain, you are a very practical person. That's really good because you can handle the earthly practical things very perfectly here. You are very structured, so you are very good in multitasking, so to speak. So that's perfect. What I feel, are you also guiding people or helping people in some kind of way? Because I feel I am blocking right now because there is something inside you which is not coming out right now.
I'm not, I mean, where I'm at right now, I mean, I do help people, but I just don't know which way to go and what to do next.
Yeah, because do you take care of people in some kind of way?
Yes.
Yeah, because that's what I feel, and you help people by taking care of them. So you are very good at what you are doing. So it's not a problem that the job is not good for you, but it is. It feels to me like the company where you are working, it feels to me like an old structure. So it feels to me like it's not comfortable for you. Your energy doesn't fit in anymore. You grew further, and that company just is standing still, in my opinion. So it's not growing with you. You need to move on because you grew into your job, but you have more experience right now, and that experience may need to come out more. I also see a better monthly income, so your paycheck will be much better in the near future. I also see some resume on your site. Are you working on your resume? Because my guides show me your resume.
No, I keep putting it off. I keep procrastinating.
So you are working with your resume, but you are not working on your resume because I see that piece of paper in front of me. I also get the communication on your resume, so that means in some kind of time frame there will be a communication about your resume. So that means your resume will be successful in the near future. So it will bring you to some other point. What I feel about your career, are you planning to be also self-employed?
I would like to be. I would like to do something so I could set my own hours and be more with my children.
Because I feel the reason I ask that is because I see the self-employment at your side. I see you will grow into that, so that means there are some finances which is necessary. Those finances will be there because of a job, because I still see another job on your side, but it looks to me like this job will be a part-time job. This job will also will be some kind of additional thing next to your self-employment. So you will be self-employed in the near future. That will be starting in the next year, I guess, because I think you will need to focusing yourself on a new job right now. Then you will be self-employed, then you will starting up your own business, so to speak. So your own business will be also helping and guiding people, because you can guide people very correctly. You have a very bright and beautiful energy. You are already helping people right now. You are taking care of people, but people are very fond of you because of the way you do your job. So you have a good connection with people, and your connection with people will be more improved. So, and that improvement on your connection with other people will be there because of your self-employment. I think you need to modify your resume, because I see your resume, it's a piece of paper which looks to me a little bit, I don't mean that negative, but it looks a little bit old-fashioned to me. So that means to me like you didn't put too much energy in your resume right now. Just make it a really structured resume. A little picture of yourself in the corner, your personal information, your work experience, and your education and your interest, your personal interest. If you modify that, you will notice you will get more interest from outside. So I feel a positive influence from outside, and then I see the communication for you for a new job.
Can I ask you, will that new job be in the same area that I'm doing, or am I going to go into a completely new career?
No, your new career will be your self-employment, but you will be doing the same thing because it takes less energy from yourself, so you can put that energy into your self-employment.
Okay.
Because you are very good at what you are doing, and you need to proceed that to have a very easy monthly income, and you can start and create your self-employment.
Okay. That sounds great.
So,
thank you.
I need to say goodbye to you, otherwise we will be cut off.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for calling in, Mary.
All right. You take care.
Thank you. You too, and God bless you. Have a great evening.
Thanks. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And thank you all my listeners for listening to the Medium Garuda Show. And we will be back and rocking next week with a new Medium Garuda Show. Bye-bye.
Hi there everyone, Tonya Reeves here, Australia's Psychic Cowgirl, coming at you from a beautiful little town in northern New South Wales. We're right on the Clarence River here. It's the most gorgeous little historic town and a population of under 500. So that's really cute, and it's been a great, I suppose you would say, it worked out really well that we got to stop here. So I'm hoping that the footage comes to you clear. We are still in country areas, but we're close to the coast here. So you can see I had to include the nice, river in the background because I thought that's really great to see some nice sunshine and the water. And you can't probably hear the birds because of our mic, but the sound here is so relaxing. So loving it. We're still travelling at the moment. So we're looking at we're on our way back to the south of Australia from, we're southern Australia. So we're kind of halfway down nearly at the moment. So we're looking at being back on the weekend. So not many days, but we worked out around 400 kilometres a day will get us back there in time to do everything else we need to do and get back to the animals and children. So we've just stopped off here on our way we're looking at Port Macquarie next. So that's pretty exciting. I haven't been there for a while. I did my Louise Hay teacher training and coach training there, and it holds a special place in my heart. So I'm looking forward to visiting there later on today. So I hope everyone's week has been good. We've had a real intense energy around with the full moon. I even felt it myself. It was quite intense, and a lot of, I think a lot of people really felt the full moon this month. So that was really interesting, just the feedback that I had, and I really felt it myself. So I just wanted to let you know if you're feeling a bit crazy or just out of sorts. It was a pretty powerful one, I found. So I had to share that in case you've been going through that as well. It's always nice to hear that you're not on your own when things like that, happen. So for me, we've been travelling along. My partner's been really crook, so we actually didn't get to meet up with a lot of family and friends that we were kind of hoping to catch up with on this trip, but it kind of made us have to lay low, and we didn't get to do the, Great Barrier Reef and just different things that we really wanted to spend some time seeing, but no doubt there'll be many more opportunities. So it was a great time for me to actually just do a little bit of regrouping and relaxing. And it was my little reminder to go, you know, we all need that bit of a recharge and taking time to, you know, fill up your cup again and just get back into being connected. So I was able to really get into the zone and, you know, do a little bit more deeper meditation and things. So it was actually a really great experience to actually be, you know, stuck somewhere and not being able to go out and do what you'd normally be busy doing. So it was just a reminder for me to be. So that was pretty exciting. And, well, when I say exciting, it was pretty relaxing. What am I saying, exciting? Oh, wow. So today it's been like my words coming out of my mouth haven't been quite equating to what's in my head. So I do, I think it's quite funny, but it's just sometimes how it goes. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate. And I hope you're having a good weekend, that there's not too much of a struggle for you personally going on. You know that here on the radio show there's many amazing psychics that are ready to step up. So please don't hesitate to share the video and get your calls in, because we love connecting with you. So I like to always put that reminder out there. Don't forget, there's so many amazing souls that are, you know, truly come from a great heart space, and, you know, we're really passionate about what we do. Like, it's just how it is how it rolls with this line of work. And most of the mediums and psychics that I know really love what they do. So it's not just a case of, I suppose, saying I'm a psychic medium. It's a case of really enjoying what we do, and we love it. So, you know, always know your questions are important to us, and we love, you know, the fact that that you're willing to connect with us. Okay, so I've got Megan in Jacksonville, Florida. Megan, how you going?
Hi, I'm really good. How are you?
Welcome everyone, this is Christy Warnick, and I am here with Energetic Alchemy. I am a spiritual, intuitive, and energy healer. So I do all kinds of transformational healing and manifesting, and I love what I do. I love helping people, and I work with people all over the world, and that's the beauty of energy healing, okay? It saved my life, and I am here to transform your life for the better. All right, so it's the end of August, so it is almost time for my birthday this week, okay? So, funny story about my birthday. My birth certificate says August 30th, but I was technically born after midnight, and it was August 31st. So now I just go by August 31st because that was actually when I was born. So it's a whole story to do with the whole date thing there. But anyway, born in a military hospital. So yeah, they kind of changed the time up a little bit there. So there were reasons for it, evidently, but I just, like I said, I celebrate on the 31st now, but my birth certificate does say the 30th. So it is my birthday week, so I would love to give you the gift of youth. I was guided this week. It's come up several times, and I'm like, okay, I get the message. I'm helping everyone. This is an energy